Okay, so this is probably a couple of minutes after my last cast for Balcora Cup. Oh, and we've got another spectator joining. Fantastic. We're playing... I think it's Karmrek first, and then Shield, but I think the order doesn't matter. I think we'll just go with Karmrek because that's the one that's loaded right now. So Robey needs to be in position 1 or 2, Sanjo put in the other one, and everybody else needs to fly up into space. 5, 6, and 7. Perfect. Okay. Let's make sure the observers know what they're about. Alright, and we are launching. Robey versus Sanjo of the Banjo Valley. Balcora Cup, group stage. Now, as we load into this game, it's important to remember Sanjo is fairly new, like a week, maybe 2 weeks old. But already playing at a very high level. Well, not a top tier level, but I'd definitely say the improvement has been astonishing from Sanjo. Definitely an RTS player, and you can really tell. Sanjo over here in the yellow tactical overlay, rocking the purple and black, looking awesome. Probably my favourite colour scheme in the tournament, aside from my own. Oh, also Koos has the green on green, which is very nice. So I think the Robey just told Sanjo what race he was actually playing, which is quite nice of him. I do believe he was rocking the random. What's his colour scheme looking like? Just sort of grey, which is fine. It's neutral, but it's not for me. Now Robey on Higarin. Robey, he doesn't seem... I can't remember if he does, so I apologise ahead if this is incorrect. I really don't feel like he has too much of a main race. He does seem to be, if he's playing a more serious game against high-level opponents, he tends to play Homeworld 1. But we see him playing Higarin here. I think this is a random roll. So he must be quite confident in his ability to win this match. Sanjo with a bit of idle time on this collector. Shouldn't matter too much, but her opponent obviously is the kind of player who's not going to have any idle time on his. The probe down below, similar to Thai Guy, but I'm still curious as to this kind of move. Now, Robey obviously has no idea about this probe, because his scouts are over here. Likewise, Sanjo, I believe, does not actually see these scouts. Maybe they're just within range of the flagship's sensor radius. Obviously we see again that quite early research shit from Sanjo. As for Robey though, he does have this research module now. We'll have to see what he's actually going to build off of that. It could be early torpedoes, and this map is very close, Here to here, torpedoes are absolutely viable. Still just a research module. As for Sanjo, we got that fighter technology quite early. Robey obviously knows this, and likewise Sanjo sees both of his production ships. Both players have good vision of each other, but they don't know that they see each other. Well, I do believe that Sanjo actually has at least access to this information that the scouts are here. I don't believe Robey is actually capable of seeing this probe. Still no military production from Robey. Very confidently taking this center patch though. Perhaps with a little bit of oversaturation. I feel like this collector is a bit of overkill on this patch. Interceptors now from Sanjo. Wow, with the very fast frigates. Oh my goodness, Robey, you must be smacking your forehead right now. Fast frigates were just picked up by Sanjo right now. And what does Robey decide to build this game? He decides to go double corvette. Wow, that's harsh. Okay, so we'll have to see. Now, Sandra is going to have to rush these frigates out. She can't really just get the frigate technology and then just sit around. She has to get those assault frigates very quickly. I'd love to see a couple of repair corvettes as well, because these gunships, and it will be gunships, I presume, are going to start... Yep, there's the gunships, double gunships. They're already on the field, you see. And they can actually kill collectors reasonably quickly. So you do want to get repair corvettes. Just one on each patch is enough to hold these gunships at bay for quite a long time. Just one interceptor has been tasked with cleaning up this scout. And it nearly does it. It nearly kills the whole scout squad. It might actually do it on the return. A couple of hits are landing. This is amazing though. Sanjo hopefully is rushing these assault frigates. Gunships, of course, have no upgrades on them right now. Oh dear, quite a lot of fighters were made by Sanjo here. I hope they don't try and fight the gunships. This is going to go awfully for these fighters. That said, you know, the gunships don't have their armor upgrade yet. Although, actually they might. Yes, in fact they do. And now they have the speed upgrade as well. Yes, sorry, 2160, that is indeed armor upgraded. So these are mostly bombers. Obviously if bombers land good hits, they will do a lot of damage. And in fact, in a straight line like this with the bombers trailing behind, they will probably actually kill a whole squad of gunships here. But there's, you know, there's 3 gunship squads over here. Really wants to try and secure this kill, but probably not going to get it. Doesn't even get the kill. Very unfortunate. Sanjo trying to use a formation here. This is not what you want to do. In Strikecraft fights, you always want to have your fighters as free as possible. So that basically means don't use formations in Strikecraft fights. Trying to get this corvette facility now, but this is only 5 bombers, it's really not going to be enough. Now, what has been achieved here with these fighters moving forward is that these gunships are not over here killing collectors, although this collector is idle. Sanjo, we see this game very low on economy. Just 5 collectors over here, just 7 over here. Whereas Robey, you know, he's got... I'm pretty sure this is 6. Yeah, 6. And then 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. He's got 8 over here, so 6 and 8 against 7, 5. The assault frigates are on the field now, and I do believe that is a support frigate. Perfect. Very well played by Sanjo. This is the exact units that she needed. Really needs to get this collector mining though. With such a low economy, you need every collector you can get. The assault frigates now trying to hone in on these gunships. Pulsar's on the field now. I do believe these are upgraded as well. Now the worst thing Sanjo can do here is throw away units for free. Get this collector mining, try and get up to 4 assault frigates and bring your support frigate with them. And try and take a good fight against these corvettes. There's a cloak on this carrier, that's interesting. Now we do see this capital ship facility from Robey. I'm thinking this could actually be a destroyer that's on the way here. The pulsars get away with their lives. And the assault frigates, very wise choice here, not chasing this pulsar squad that's going to get away. Instead just turning and trying to get a snipe on a collector. This is very well played. Oh, Robey with the cloak, it's so mean. Obviously you can't hit the collectors that are actually in transit, you can only hit them when they're mining. When a cloak is active around them. Looks like a collector will still go down. Pulsar's now trying to take the fight. Support frigate's still way over here. Assault Frigate's now kiting a little bit as they try and take this fight, but this is 4 pulsars. This is actually getting a bit dangerous. Really, 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 really wish these support frigates were up here healing this assault frigate. In fact, I do believe both of these assault frigates are probably going to die. And with it, you know, the chances of Sancho being able to take this game also sort of plummet, because it was only really by massing assault frigates and clearing out all of the corvettes that Sanjo was ever going to be able to push off of where she is right now in the game. The gunship's going very high to avoid sensors. That's not true. Not to avoid sensors, but to avoid visual detection by the opponent. So, you know, if I'm doing things down here, I can't see these gunships. Because most people play from this top-down perspective, whereas the gunships are way up here. This assault frigate being gifted its life. Not sure why. I guess it's actually it was a fair pullback because these reinforcing assault frigates were coming in now. Is this a formation? Can't tell. I don't think so. This support frigate really doing nothing over here. And here we go. These assault frigates just didn't see this coming at all, and that's what they've actually turned around to try and stop, but it's too little too late. With no gravity wells and no assault frigates on hand here, these gunships are just going to come in and clear up all of these collectors. And there is still this capital ship facility over here, so we may indeed see a destroyer hit the field anytime soon. A ton of pulsars on the field now. In fact, I feel like these pulsars are so numerous at this point that they can probably just take the fight with the assaults. And this is looking like a... why? Okay, I suppose this carrier does have a cloak on it, but fairly presumptuous, to be honest, to think that you were this far ahead that you needed a proxy to push the issue. Yep, every single collector's going to get cleared up here. Now the gunships are getting thinned out here, but it's too little too late. Every collector except for these two is gone. You know, these support frigates should be healing the collectors. Or, you know, healing anything, to be honest. Pulsar's getting mashed up by these assault frigates, but you know, they've already done their job, which was to kill the collectors, and there it is, there's that destroyer. No upgrades on it. It does have its move speed upgrade. Does it? I can't remember. I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure 120 is an upgraded destroyer. Is this squad going to go down? Yeah, just about. Okay, so Robey, he's gone in and done the damage he was after, and he's killed every collector, and he's honestly got away with most of his pulsars and gunships. And now that this destroyer is just hyperspaced in, right over here, in the midst of these assault frigates, and its armor upgrade just ticked, so this is really going to be all she wrote. Sanjo actually does have that capital technology, so presumably a carrier or maybe a missile destroyer or something was on the way, but we're unlikely to see that in this game now. Just really no economy left, you know, two collectors. This destroyer actually correctly identifies that. It actually can't win this fight very convincingly without kiting quite well. The reason it's kind of losing this fight is mostly because it's been spending a lot of time just moving around, not doing much. Yeah, it's still not shooting them. So Robey just decides to kill the collectors with it, which is a very good call. Unfortunately, the destroyer loves to spread its fire all over the place. You see that this gun is shooting this collector, the missiles are shooting this collector, and he's actually probably tasked to fire at one of these collectors. Of course, that will lose him to the destroyer. These pulsars just ensuring that no economy ever gets started up again on this base. So what little was left of Sanjo's economy is just going down the drain. The destroyer not focusing its fire on the weak assault frigates. It's just going to go down. Probably would have just done better to hyperspace it in here or something where it could be supported correctly. Especially with a couple of collectors repairing it, this thing would just probably never die to assault frigates. A lot of rotational maneuvers being done here. Probably not Robey's intention. Also, not killing this specific assault frigate, probably not Robey's intention. Robey coming in with another destroyer now. Yes, precisely. Just as soon as this one goes down, another one jumps right in to resume the fight. And all of these are pulsar corvettes, so you know, they do get mashed up by assault frigates, but they equally mash up assault frigates. So there's one of these assault frigates that's been on incredibly low health this entire time. It's just not been cleared up. Please target this one. Nope, going for the collectors. Banjo calls the GG, which probably should have been called maybe 5 minutes ago, but you know, it's always worth exploring the later stages of a losing game. Sometimes there are sneak things that can actually bring you back, but in this case I feel like Robey's play was just very clean, and he made all the right technology decisions. I thought it was hopeful for Sandra at the start with the very fast frigates against the very fast corvettes, but she made slightly too many fighters and mispositioned her assault frigates near the middle. There was really no need to do that. Just build up a force and then push rather than trickling in. So it's 1-0 Robey. We'll be beginning our second game. So Karam Rek was actually Sanjo's choice of map. So now we're going to Shield. Which was Robey's choice. Okay, so everyone's loaded in, everyone's observers. Alright, here we go. So, game 2 of this series between Robey and Banjo. Group stages. This time we're going to Shield, which is the old favourite. It's the classic, it's the absolute epitome of what the old guard used to consider, you know, the 1v1 scene in Homeworld Remastered, and Homeworld 2 to be honest. And there still is a lot of merit to playing this map, you know, it brings out a lot of micro moments, which are quite fun to see. So Banjo in the black and purple. Starting off the game as Taidan. Now Robey actually rolled Higaran again. He was picking random Homeworld 2, that was his race choice. We'll have to see what he goes for on this Shield game. No early probes or scouts from Robey. But the same can be said... Oh, no. Just as I say that, a probe pops out. I wonder if we'll see that 1 minute 20-second research ship again. Probe gets deployed. Still no scouting information coming out of Robey. There is the research ship at 1 minute 20 seconds, yeah. I presume Sandra is just queuing that up as soon as match starts, perhaps? I don't remember what the build time of a research ship is. I mean, you know, maybe it really is 80 seconds and she's just queuing it up immediately as the game starts. Okay, Robey with the double fighters. Yep, there's the second one just popped. So we are taking it way back in time, way back to the old days. Homeworld 2, I mean I wasn't around then, but I know it was like this. Early days of Homeworld Remastered that I was involved in, which weren't actually that early. I mean I joined after the 2.1 patch. But I do remember games were always going like this. The old Higaran Interceptor Rush. Tried and true. Interesting to get scouts with this. Usually you just want to make a probe because it's slightly cheaper and just position it like here or something lazy. Sancho getting slightly more collectors. Really does not have any idea that this is coming. We got two? Where's the second? Just one interceptor on the field. The mothership really needs that research module to get the fighter speed. You can just sell it afterwards if that's a concern. Sanjo retaliating with her own fighters. I really don't feel like this is going to go Robey's way. If you're talking about actual properly int rushing, I feel like this was almost a... I don't know, it was a kind of greedy int rush, you know, you've got a lot of collectors here. Sort of gone for a half and half build. I'd also massively prefer gunships with torpedoes on this map. Robey just hanging back for now, wanting to build up a certain amount of interceptors before trying anything. But I'm sure that Sandra's got docked inside there several of her own interceptors. Now with the Corvette tech, so just really making just a small handful of interceptors and then going hard into light Corvettes, which is literally the perfect way to play against interceptors. Couldn't ask for anything better. Sandra now under attack, needs to, if she's got units, she needs to launch them now. Love to see a repair Corvette. So no units are launching. This makes me a bit worried. I really thought Sandra must have had something stocked up in there. But we are seeing light Corvettes now. Is that really enough to spook Robey away from killing this collector? Interesting. Definitely a overreaction. Should have stayed to kill the collector and then ran away. Sandra's going to be happy about that one. Okay, so Robey, what's his follow-up? Is he just still on interceptors? He actually sold one of his fighter facilities to get a research module. Oh, here's the torpedoes. So yeah, the Corvette's days are numbered. You know, these light Corvettes are probably not going to take a brilliant fight anyway, simply because there's so many interceptors. Wow, they massacred that squadron. So the interceptors now are just buying time. You can see they've split up into an evasive flight path. This will make them much more survivable at the cost of doing any damage, basically. But they don't need to do damage, that's not what they're here for. They're here to stall out until the torpedoes hit the field. So more and more Corvettes from Sanjo. I'd much prefer to see irons being hard chased for, but the torpedo frigate is actually very troublesome for Homeworld 1 to deal with, because it beats corvettes, and it also outranges both of Homeworld's frigates, Homeworld 1's frigates, the Assault and the Iron frigate. They both get outranged by it. So Homeworld 1's options against torpedoes are honestly just limited to bombers, or a very dedicated push with a ball of like corvettes or something that is going to hit a patch that the torpedo can't just kite away from. So the torpedo hits the field, and that is pretty much just going to end all of these corvettes. Light corvettes are one shot, I think heavy corvettes are two, might be three. Banjo now trying to kill some collectors, and will get some collectors. This is a really good use of your time. You know, these units are not going to escape, and they're also not going to win a fight. So why not do something useful with them in the meantime? Kill some collectors. Perfect. Pretty sure Banjo did not use the burst ability on these collectors though. So Banjo now trickling in some interceptors. A bit more substantial force of them is arriving. Now we've got 2 torpedoes on the field for 3, sorry. There's also a frigate facility over here now. In addition to a corvette facility. For Sanjo though, we are now seeing the frigate technology is researched. So definitely the assault frigates will hit the field, but this torpedo frigate is going to be very hard to stop. I feel like it's just going to fly in and do a lot of damage to these collectors. Kill probably most of them. Sanjo taking a very unconvincing fight over here. I think this is going to be stalled for a long time. Torpedo frigate correctly just immediately starts trying to hit the collectors. Although he doesn't look like he's got the improved torpedoes, which is a bit of an oversight. Seeing bombers coming in now from Banjo, this is a very good decision to have made. And Sanjo now sort of clearing up these assault craft. Now, these 2 torpedo frigates are just being mean and just bypassing this fight and trying to head towards this collector line. So there's pressure on this one and on this one. And it could be a similar case to last game, where Sanjo's collectors just get all cleared up. You know, last game we saw the gunships doing it. This game it's the torpedo frigates. They do need that improved torpedo though. Another I think pretty sure this is the second one. Yeah, very oppressive on this map to deal with the Higaran torpedo frigates as Homeworld 1. You know, Banjo not even really convincingly winning this fight anymore, because obviously it's being reinforced, and there is a dock point for the Homeworld 2 interceptors to just replenish all their health with. Interesting to see that. I can't remember your name. Robey, good lord, it's very late. Interesting to see that he's actually got the upgrades, all of the upgrades for the torpedoes, as opposed to just the more frugal approach of just getting perhaps the improved torpedo itself and maybe armor. So these interceptors are getting cleared up. Torpedoes in the main base now. Not quite killing this collector because they don't have the... oh, they do now. My bad. Nothing at home to stop these torpedo frigates from just staying alive and preventing any collection from happening. So Sanjo is now down a patch, and being down a patch as Homeworld 1 is really never where you want to be. Assault frigates do grace the field, but I do believe, I see, if Robey controls these well, he will just kite. He may even just bypass this assault frigate and try and do get as many collector snipes as he can. That just looks like what he's doing. Yeah, he's going for this collector. So he's not worried about losing the torpedo frigate, he just wants to deal as much damage with it as possible. And trading a torpedo for a collector is absolutely a-okay. All of the collectors over here have been cleaned up. Every single one, so that's really bad. More torpedoes now. Just streaming across the map. And all the fighters that were over here that looked like they were winning a convincing fight stopped getting any reinforcements into them, and so they just dwindled in number and now they're gone. And all that's left are Robey's assault craft, interceptors, sorry, left triumphant. So these guys are kind of have free reign now. You know, this is a whole bunch of bombers that can be killed, or just come over here and just help, just clear up all of these collectors. You know, the torpedo stream is probably not going to stop until the destroyer hits the field, but Robey doesn't seem to be interested in going destroyers this game. Once again, the torpedo frigate just ignoring the defender and trying to kill the economy straight away. Now these clawed attack bombers do have a damage bonus from being in formation. Very nice. So these assault frigates are now the only frigates on the front line, but Banjo is not replacing these collectors, and it's absolutely going to pay for that. Quite literally, you know, Robey's on 2 patches, Banjo's just on 1. And Robey is not losing the military too hard either. Looks like this game's going to be extended until its next phase though. I would love to see these assault frigates just make a beeline for this patch. Pulsar's on the field for Robey. No upgrades on them right now, but I expect by the time they start getting into a fight they will have their upgrades. Sanjo's last fight is being cleared up over there. And look at this, there was a hypertorp. Very, very disgusting play from Robey. There's actually nothing left over here to snipe, so this one's that was hyperspaced here is going to have to go all the way back here to kill the collectors. Probably should have just walked over here. Hemorrhaging quite a few pulsar squadrons here, no need for this. And also has a lot of idle collectors, a lot of idle interceptors over here. Should probably send these to kill the collectors. And so, you know, Banjo's just been routed off her main, and it's trying to compete with, I don't know how many collectors this is now, but with just 6 collectors on a big patch. It would have been 7, but this one's probably going to get cleared up. I hear another hyperspace signature. This time it's a grav well, which is very good, preventing any more of this kind of shenanigan from happening. Unfortunately, it tells the collector to come back to mining a bit too early, so the kiting the torpedo is still going to be able to hit that. Robey now, remembering he has a whole bunch of interceptors, starts sending them around. Torpedo is just going to be cleared up by these assault frigates. Every upgrade is purchased on these torpedoes. But I really feel like Robey should not be afraid anymore. You know, even if you see this grav well, still push in. The grav well is not permanent, and there's nothing that can really mash your fighters in a grav well. Taking out this collector very cleanly. Should go down. And it does. So the grav well gets triggered, and actually these interceptors are very close to this carrier. So we will see them getting mauled by that. lost quite a substantial amount of interceptors there. 4 pulsars sharking around. Sanjo is now resaturating her main, but there's a destroyer on the field. She's behind in fighters, she's behind in tech, she's behind in economy. It will take something of a miracle to bring Sanjo back into this game. But Shield is a map where a lot of comebacks do happen, so we will see. But this is not the huge frigate blob that she had last game. This is just 3 assault frigates, and this is a destroyer. Pulsar's coming in from the back now, try and get a snipe here on these collectors. Gravwell would obviously love to be over here to catch all 4 of these, but alas, it is over here. For some reason the Pulsars ditched this effort to try and snipe the collectors and try and turn to fight some assault frigates, which is obviously not what they want to do. Destroyer slow boating it over now. A second carrier from Robey. These Pulsars realise they made a mistake, start flying away in the evasive maneuvers. Probably going to spot one of these collectors and perhaps consider trying to dive in for them, but these assaults are giving chase, so there's really no option for that. Here comes the destroyer, targeting down this Gravwell first, it looks like. Or perhaps not, going for a collector. Again though, this is a collector that's just about to dock. You really want to go for this collector that's heading out. Pulsars got cleaned up very convincingly actually. I really thought those Pulsars were going to go uncontested on the main, but the assault frigates got there definitely in time. Destroyer now pushing out for Robey. And these collectors are definitely going to go down. Splat. These assault frigates are just giving chase way too much. They should, split over here and try and get some collector kills is the best advice I could offer in this scenario. But to be honest, I really don't see how you're going to come back into this. You're being outproduced now as well by another carrier. So really just a cleanup from Robey here. Obviously the collectors are just going to get slowly whittled down and killed by this destroyer. These interceptors running away for some reason, I'm not really sure why, they could easily turn and fight this. These pulsars are still alive. Interceptors really don't have very good damage against corvettes. And these assault frigates valiantly trying to defend Sanjo's only real mining patch, although this one has been resaturated. Robey probably going to pop a second destroyer here. That's probably why he jumped his mothership forward. And there it is. And with 2 destroyers on the field, I really don't see how Sanjo is going to stop this push. Maybe if she unloads like 12 salvage corvettes here, steals a couple of these destroyers. But even then, you're so far behind on the strike battle. Down goes the last assault frigate. Sanjo sitting here without even capital tech at this point, and it's looking very dire. 5 collectors plus 3. Is this going to dock in time? Presumably. Without focus fire, it definitely will. And we're not seeing that focus fire. Needs another shot. Another volley if it hits before it docks. Yeah, it'll go down. Brilliant. So honestly, in Sanjo's scenario here, I would just call the GG, because there really is nothing you can do to prevent any of this. You can't win this, you can't... Yep, no point dragging it out. My thoughts exactly. Birds of a feather. And Sanjo taps out. A really, you know, definitely not a bad game from Sanjo, but at the same time, kind of just lost too much to torpedoes. You know, torpedoes were extremely punishing this game. And then, of course, the destroyers showed up, and that was pretty much it. Probably didn't get enough collectors on this second patch. Was actually behind the whole game, even before the main was attacked and cleared up. So yeah, good game to Sanjo. Probably just the lack of experience in the matchup hurting Sanjo here. So Homeworld 1 really just wants to utterly dominate the fighter battle against Higaran. So you're going to be making a lot of interceptors, and you're going to hard tech into assault frigates because that actually beats Higaran's best answer to your interceptors, which is the gunships. So you got this interesting dynamic that plays out between those two races. But Sanjo, of course, didn't know that. Doesn't have much matchup experience. Of course, is quite a new player compared to Robey, who's been around for, since the dawn of time, as far as I'm concerned. Enemy ships killed, just a massacre. And the resource harvested really just tells the tale. If you're harvesting double your opponent's RUs with only half the collector's built, you've definitely done a lot of economic damage in this game. Those torpedoes were savage. But yeah, that was so it's 2-0 to Robey. Not unexpected, but still, I think those games. The first game in particular was not quite as fast as I was expecting. So Sanjo's really holding her own against these veteran players. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. In the description is the links to the Discord. Please join us. Let's grow this community. I know you guys are out there waiting to play games, and we're happy to oblige. So get the mod, get on Discord, hit us up. We're ready. All right, see you guys next time.